Hey everybody, welcome back to Gaijin Gaiden. And as you may have heard, recently Donald Trump paid a visit to us here in Japan. Um, from what I heard, there were some protests in Tokyo about this, but for the most part, from what I've seen, it seems to have gone by. I mean, of course, the Japanese media paid quite a bit of attention to it, but I never really heard that much hubbub about it. It was just from what I can tell, pretty normal, well, relatively normal visit by a pretty important head of state. I didn't see anybody having a super crazy reaction to the whole thing of like, you should shoot down those North Korean missiles if they shoot them over Hokkaido again. I kind of get the impression that everybody here was like, well, something interesting is going to happen, but but nonetheless, uh, despite some interesting and awkward moments in recent U.S. and Japanese relations, for the most part, Trump and Prime Minister Abe do seem to get along at least reasonably well. Um, and one way or the other, they are both very firmly committed to not taking any BS from North Korea. Of course, playing games with a nuclear power is a dicey prospect. So, uh, exactly where all of this is going to go is certainly a serious issue. And I mean, I live in a fairly good-sized Japanese city, so if the bombs start dropping, well, I'm probably going to get melted into paste. So I think you can understand why I'm a little bit concerned. But it is interesting that in Japan, the right-wing elements of society and the government seem to be quite the fans of Donald Trump. And as evidence, I want to show you this. This is a flyer I got a while back from a right-wing group who, from what I could tell, consists seemingly entirely of these very cheerful old Japanese ladies. But they handed me this flyer here, and I'm not gonna try and translate all of this for you. It's just too much. But it's just basically a big of like, hey, we like we're cool with Donald Trump, and we think he's going to be a good ally for Japan. And uh, yeah, this these kanji right here, by the way, mean China, and this does contain some rather creative anti-Chinese, well, I think you can really only call it an anti-Chinese conspiracy theory. And let me just show you the crux of it all right here. Stupid camera. So, yeah. So basically, from what I've been able to puzzle out, this is lays out supposedly like some secret documents that were smuggled out of China that contain a plan to have China seize about the bottom third, I would say, of Japan by the year 2050. Now, realistically, I mean, that's absolutely absurd, but, well, modern conspiracy theories don't let facts get in the way of good old-fashioned fostering paranoia as a means of fostering nationalism. And unfortunately, in modern times, we've seen quite the disturbing surge of this around the world. And yeah, I mean, China with some kind of conspiracy to take the southern third of Japan within the next, 33 years. I mean, in a year ago, I would have laughed at the idea that any person who, didn't also walk around with a tinfoil hat to keep aliens from stealing their thoughts would ever believe this. But it's been an interesting year, where more than a few things that are pretty unbelievable have indeed happened. So yeah, it is interesting to see where the state of the world is going, and I think all we can really do is hope that we got through the Cold War without turning each other into turning the world into a radioactive cinder. So hopefully we can get through this as well. And that happened because on both sides there were a lot of people who worked really hard to make sure that when things got really serious, that cooler heads prevailed. Um, let's hope that things don't get so serious, and that if they do, cooler heads prevail. Otherwise, this channel might come to an abrupt and radioactive end. Anyway, guys, that's everything I have for you today. So, as always, please comment, rate, subscribe. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Gaijin Gaiden. And I've just come up with our new Tumblr at Gaijin Gaiden. So please also join me there. Until next time, take care and have a good one.